Hey everybody, it's a Wednesday morning. We're going to talk about the risk for some severe weather, unfortunately, again this week, but there's some good news, a light at the end of the tunnel. Once this severe weather gets through here Thursday into Friday, the holiday weekend looks amazing. But between now and then, got some bumps in the road we're going to have to get through. Let me show you the overall picture first because it's a pretty complex setup. Today, if you've been outside, you're like, man, there's no way we're getting severe weather. You'd be right because we've got the wedge, northeast winds. That cool front is wedged up against the mountains. It's actually producing some really nice conditions. In fact, let me turn on the surface temperatures real quickly here and just show you how cool it is. I'm going to pause this for a second and show you these temperatures. Look, we're in the 50s and 60s across most of the Piedmont of North and South Carolina back into the mountains, even northeast Georgia. The heat and humidity is built back to the south. That's where we've got some of that warmer air. I'll turn on the temperatures. I'm going to turn off the satellite image for a second. So you can see that wedge set up there. If you look at just the temperatures, you can see it, but let's look at the dew point temperatures as well. I think that's a telling story. Much drier air. And why is that important? Well, two things feed thunderstorms and severe weather. Warm, humid air at the surface, cold, dry air above our heads. That's called instability. That's the setup. And sometimes you can't see that. That's why oftentimes when I'm forecasting severe weather and people wake up in the morning and they go, it's completely sunny. How are we going to have severe weather today? Well, they don't realize it's hot and humid near the surface building into the afternoon, and above our heads it's cold and dry. You don't see that really start to unfold until the afternoon. So here's our system back to the west. You can see it kind of poised there. I'm going to turn on the severe weather outlook for today, and you'll see that's kind of where we expect the severe weather, in this warm sector, which is between the cold front and around this stationary front. So it's in here. We're wedged in with cool air, and cooler air wrapping in the backside doesn't really provide. So the best chance, or the worst chance, definitely the way you look at it, for severe weather is right there in the middle. Now, as this pushes to the east tomorrow, it's going to put the severe weather risk pretty close to us. Now, it technically only has us in a low risk, but I have a sneaky suspicion we're going to see most of this area. I wouldn't say all this area, but probably a lot of this area added. And I'll show you why. Because as we go into Friday morning, you see the severe weather risk start to tick back up, and you're like, wow, that's kind of weird. Now, the reason it does that is because between Thursday and Friday is when the storm hits. So we're kind of in that no man's land between the outlook for Thursday and the outlook for Friday. The problem is a lot of this over the Western Carolinas will happen late Thursday night into Friday morning between those two severe weather outlooks. So that's why you're looking at kind of the odd setup there. But you can see we've got the outlook there. Now, we're also got the risk for flash flooding. If we look at the flash flood risk today, you see it kind of to our west. I'll go to tomorrow. You'll see moving into the Carolinas, we've got the low to medium risk. And then we'll go to day 3. You can see that pushes off to the east. So in the mountains in particular, this yellow area is the medium risk for flash flooding. The green is the low risk. So we've got not only severe weather, but a risk for flash flooding with this system as it heads our way. So let's get into some forecast details as this pushes east. All right, so let's start at 11 a.m. today. No issues today. Cool, dry, maybe some drizzle. Can't rule that out. But watch what's going on to our west as we go into the afternoon hours. I'm going to stop this at around 7 p.m. You notice a couple waves of thunderstorms. There's a big cluster down here in Texas, Louisiana. One here from St. Louis to New Orleans, and then another one that's kind of broken here to our west. The reason the one that's immediately to our west is one to watch because it might help us out. And what I mean by that is if it moves in and weakens, it could help briefly stabilize the air early tomorrow. You see how it falls apart? And it does. It does. It kind of completely falls apart here as it moves in. But what you don't see is it leaves clouds and cooler air early tomorrow morning. So as we go into tomorrow morning, I'll stop this at 7 a.m. Look at all the drizzle, mist, and it'll look a lot like it does this morning. But remember what's happening in the atmosphere. That stalled front, which was here, is actually pushing north. So warm, humid air is surging in from the south. And that warm, humid air is moving in at the low levels. Now, as long as the cloud cover stays here, that would deter severe weather. So you see the next line coming in, it doesn't have a lot of the things to feed off of until we get to 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. What's happening over the Carolinas? Are we seeing sunshine? So again, another day where I'm going to be saying we don't want to see sunshine. If we see sunshine, that's not going to be a good thing, especially if it starts clearing to our south. And that's where I look, honestly. If it's cloudy over Charlotte and western North Carolina, I look, is it clearing down here, and is that clearing trend moving north as this line of storms moves in from the west? That's kind of what I keep an eye on. So this first wave starts pushing in, and about 7 p.m., it's still to our west. So the timing of this is really Thursday night into Friday morning. So if you have early plans on Thursday, there could be some rain, but it's not severe. It's just drizzle, mist. It's probably pretty much, you can work through it, especially if you have any outdoor activities that require safety. If you can get a little wet or sprinkles, you're okay, but nothing severe. By Thursday night, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, that line kind of falls apart. Now, that's good news. If that happens, and we're gonna have to wait for additional data, as long as the instability is in there, that system might not really make it all the way here. My concern is overnight Thursday into Friday morning, eventually this system starts getting its act together, it pushes east, and even on Friday morning, the front starts to cross the area. So this is 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, this starts to push through, and this would mean more of a threat on Friday morning. So that's why you're seeing this kind of sandwich between Thursday, Friday, and this is 2 p.m. Friday afternoon, which is starting to look like more of a threat than even Thursday. So you look at that, you see some individual cells, you see a line here. These little cells are ones we would watch for potential rotation, but I really think the overall setup, because this is a big cold front, is going to be more straight line winds, less tornado risk, more straight line risk, though the tornado risk is not zero. You see this thing starts to push east, where this is actually where the extent of the forecast model goes out to 2 p.m. So Friday's starting to look a little more iffy for potential for severe weather. I'm going to go to a different product here, and I've shown this before, the tornado parameter. So we go through Thursday, you see some of it trying to build up here, but really not a whole lot Thursday. So I'm getting a little more optimistic for Thursday, but I'm waiting for the morning model runs in before I get too excited. I'm going to move my head down a little bit here. We go into Friday morning, though. Look at there right when the front gets here. This is right around 8, 9, 10, 11, middle of the day on Friday. The front gets here, and potentially, I think Friday is going to end up being the day we're going to be watching more than Thursday at the rate this is going. So 2 days, we want you to stay weather aware, probably late Thursday into Friday, but the emphasis here is that Friday morning is looking a little bit more iffy. I'll wait till the runs come in and see how this unfolds. One thing I'll be looking at as well is the Cape. How much fuel do we have for these thunderstorms to build off? I'm gonna load that real quickly here. Let the model run it real quick. So pause with me just for a second as I load this up. It might take a second. All right, had some time to load. So this is the thunderstorm fuel you often hear me talk about. We call it CAPE. It's convective available potential energy. Look how there's none over the Charlotte area. That's what that front, that wedge is doing to us. It's stabilizing things. Watch as we go through today into tonight. Some of it tries to build into the area, but really none makes it here. We go into the overnight hours. We're pretty safe. We're safe. Tomorrow, noon. Ooh, the Cape is trying to knock on our doors, but it looks pretty stable over most of the Carolinas. We go into the afternoon hours. Here comes some Cape. So this is why, even though the future radar did not look very impressive, and you're like, oh, it doesn't look bad Thursday, it's why I'm still going to watch this carefully. Because by 7 p.m., here's the model run up here, 7 p.m., again, this is just guidance. Remember, it's not a forecast. It's kind of a gauge. It does show clearing and maybe some instability getting in here. It starts to wane because the sun sets, but then going into Friday morning, the strong front moves in. It starts pulling up more just ahead of the front. So we go to the middle of the day on Friday. Look at that. So imagine what's happening here. I mean, I can see it in my eyes, and I know this is just Cape. This is the cold front. There's all the fuel for storms. So expect strong storms to be developing along the front and pushing off to the east as we go into the afternoon hours. We stop it at 2 o'clock. So again, this is 2 o'clock Friday. Look at the front right there. This is the Cape. Let me turn this off real quickly and throw on the severe weather outlook for Friday. Okay, there's the Cape. Watch what happens when I turn off the Cape. So you get the idea of why that severe weather outlook looks that way on Friday. So yes, there is a chance on Thursday as this gets closer to us. There's the risk for Thursday into Thursday evening. It actually shows some of that surge. But right now, I think that Friday morning time frame is one to watch. Of course, I obviously will post updates today, tonight, and tomorrow. We'll keep you weather aware as we get closer to Friday. And remember, the good news is this all clears out for the weekend, and the weekend looks amazing.